So let's start. Today we'll do work, and today under that we'll talk about types of energy. Now, actually, what happened? I recorded the half of the video, it got deleted. So I have already written this part. Now I have to tell you, okay? I'm just dictating. So first one is called the solar energy. Now this part you have to read it on your own. I'm just telling the name of the parts: solar energy, heat energy, light energy, chemical energy, hydro energy, electrical energy, nuclear energy, geothermal energy, wind energy, sound energy, magnetic energy. These parts, the conversion of one form of energy to another, this is just theoretical. I'm not going to explain this, just mug it up this part. Any doubt, ask in the comments. I'm always there. So the only important part in this is the mechanical energy, the energy possessed by a body due to its state of motion or of rest. So when a body is at rest, then that energy, the body contains a potential energy. When it is a kinetic energy, when it is in motion, okay, motion, then it has some kinetic energy. Potential energy, two types: elastic potential energy, gravitational potential energy. Elastic potential energy depends on the shape, gravitational potential energy on the position. Now before we actually do what the potential energy is, to get the essence of the potential energy, we have to know two forces: conservative force, non-conservative force. Conservative force is any force that is not path dependent. Like if we go from, let's change the color, A to B, from like this path or this path, even if we go like this, does not matter. Always it depends on the initial and the final point. Understand? This is what is conservative force. Now obviously you can understand non-conservative force is nothing that does not depend on the path, meaning you have to calculate the whole thing. Let me give you some example. Now, conservative force is for, like, say, gravitational energy, spring energy, then spring force, gravitational force, spring force, electrostatic force, and all the other forces are non-conservative. Understand? What is non-conservative is just the opposite. I'm not going to explain it. So now let's move on. Now what is potential energy? Now one thing, let me tell you clearly, very clearly. If I say what is the potential of energy of a body, sorry to say, I am wrong. You can't say this. It is represented by U. I am going to write. So if I say U of A, you cannot give me an answer. That is a wrong definition. I mind you, that's a wrong definition. UFA does not exist, so it is not defined. Always when you say U or potential energy, it is nothing but change of potential energy, U2 minus U1, and this change of potential energy is nothing but the negative of work done by a conservative force. I told you what is a conservative force and what is a potential, what do you call it? What did I just say? And what is a non-conservative force? And now, what did I say? On which forces does the conservative force? What are the examples of conservative force? I told gravity, gravitational force. Then I told the spring force, and I also told the electrostatic force. What is electrostatic force? You can delete it later. I'm not writing it. The electrostatic force, leave it for now. It's not in a syllabus currently. But I told you what, there are actually two types of mechanical energy: elastic PE and gravitational PE. See here, work done by conservative force, gravitational force, and spring force. That is elastic force. Okay, so you get the essence now. Very much essence. Now let's do the gravitational potential energy in detail. Now, what is the gravitational potential energy? Now let's say, now to give a basic idea, GPE, I'm writing GPE, understand? If two bodies, remember gravitational force, I'm not going to explain it, it was class 9, separated by n r distance, its mass is m1, its mass is m2. So now what I know, that the force that is acting, Fg, is nothing but G m1 m2 by r squared. You know this. Now work done by conservative force, this is a conservative force, so I can write it as G m1 m2 r squared into r, because the distance between the two bodies is r, gets cut, r equal to g m1 m2 by r. Now what is the change in work, what is the potential energy? Actually change in potential energy, change in potential is nothing but work done by minus of work done by conservative force, you know this. So it will be nothing but g m1 m2 by r equal to delta u. This is a formula that is hardly comes in board, but 2-3 questions came once. Remember this. Understand it clearly. So we'll move on. Now what there is in the book, let's say a body is here, at two moments. Okay, at this moment it is at h1 height, at this moment it is at h2 height, a body. Okay, now tell me, what is the work done by the body, work done by this, tell me what is the force acting on the body first. It's mg. So the work done by in situation 1, this is 1, okay, this is 2. Work done in the situation is 1 is nothing but mg into h1, because the distance between this and the ground is nothing but h1. Now w2 is nothing but mg into h2. Understand why? No, this is the force mg, and this h1 is the actual distance between the two body, the displacement of the body actually, to be said. So what is the delta u, if I say? Okay, delta u is, now actually what happens is that if I am rising the body, if the body is rising, then the initial height is this much and the final height is this much, always final minus initial. If it is, let me write it in a new page, delta u equal to mg h2 minus h1 if rising, and it is equal to mg h1 minus h2 if falling. You understand why? h2, because then the initial becomes h2 and the final is h1. Understand? Always final minus initial. Final minus initial is my rule. Understand? So we will say now one thing, if my work done increases, then I say energy gain. Let me tell you this, because this is given in this part. Okay, if it is decreases, then we can also say that it loses energy. Lose energy. Oh no, I can't spell. Lose energy. This is gravitational potential energy. EPE, I'm not going to discuss anything because not in the book. I am still going to give you the formula, half kx square, where k is nothing but the spring constant, don't need to know now, and x is nothing but a displacement. Like if earlier at the spring the body was like this, now after a spring it becomes this, so this distance is nothing but delta x. Okay, delta x or the x here. Now we talk about kinetic energy. Kinetic energy is nothing called half mv square. Now how did we get this? You would say half mv square. Kinetic energy possessed by a body, the energy possessed by a body due to state of motion is called kinetic energy. Okay, now how did we get this? Now you know one thing, that v square minus v square equal to u square minus plus 2s. Now s is nothing but, no, do one thing, we start with the let s is v square minus u square by 2a. Okay, now what is f? F is nothing but ma. What the hell am I writing? Yeah, f is equal to ma. Sorry. Now let's direct go to work. Work is nothing but the energy, that is the kinetic energy. Kinetic energy is nothing but f into a. ma into v square minus u square by 2a. a gets cut, half m v2 square minus v1 square. I am writing it v2 and v1 squared. Okay, this is the formula for kinetic energy, half mv square if the initial velocity is 0. Understand? Now see, we know something that this is a very important topic in the board, in order of the board, half mv square. Now we know what momentum is nothing but mv. Now we can write v as p by m. Do you agree with this? Now if I substitute this m p square by m square, this gets cut m. So what do I get? P square equal to 2mk, or p is equal to root over 2mk. This is a very vital equation. Or if you would do in this manner, I would take k, or you could just write it in this manner also. Ke is nothing but p square by 2m. This derivation comes from marks. You have to learn it, remember for all your life. Okay. So now if a light body and a heavy body, okay, now see, ka by kb, let's say they have masses, okay, different masses, it will always result in m by m. How? Sorry, I'm not writing like this, mb by ma. How would you say? Because you know, in this relation it is inversely proportional to mass, so it gets reversed. Understand? So if a light body will have more kinetic energy, because we know mb, in the question it is given mb is greater than ma, so ka will greater than kb. So means what? Mass is inversely proportional to ke. Now we can also see that the mass is directly proportional to m. P. Here you can see it's directly proportional. Actually nothing, it's actually P is directly proportional to root m, actually, to be said. So a heavy body will have more momentum. Understand? So now we are going to do a very important topic that is called the work energy theorem. Work energy theorem states what? The work done by the, see that I'm writing this, total work done by a force is equal to of a moving body, obviously in the same direction, is equal to its increase of kinetic energy. What does it mean? Actually nothing but work, total work, or work net, if I say, not work net, let me write total work done is nothing but half m, that's not right, k2 minus k1, final kinetic energy. It's better to write like this, k final minus k initial. Okay, this is half m v final squared minus v initial squared. This is a very important thing. The proof is given in the book, and if I have already done the proof. Where is it? Yes. So v square minus u square equal to 2s. S can be written like this. Then kinetic energy can be written like this. This is only the proof. Okay. Just read it from the book. Now let's talk about the forms of kinetic energy. What are the forms of the kinetic energy? First is translation. I will not repeat this. In the first chapter I did what is translation motion. If a body is going through translation motion, then the kinetic energy possessed by it is called the translation. What do you call it? Translational kinetic energy. Now if a body is moving like this around the axis, a disk is moving around an axis, then the kinetic energy possessed by, like say, this particle is known as the rotational kinetic energy. Understand? Now let's say vibrational kinetic energy. This one, let me explain you. If there is one point, this is called the equilibrium point. Now if a body just moves to and fro of this point, this type of motion is called vibratory motion. So the kinetic energy possessed by such a body is known as vibratory kinetic energy. Understand? Now, depending on anything, depending on the situation, the body can possess one or more than one. Like if I remember, I told you that when a body when a body moves, like the if you roll a ball, it will simultaneously rotate inside and also move forward. So this is what you call, this is also having a translational motion and also having a rotatory motion. So it both has translational and rotatory means rotational kinetic energy in it. Understand? So let's do the differences between potential energy and kinetic energy. Can you tell me what is the differences between potential energy and kinetic energy? First is obviously any difference is the definition. I'm not going to give the definition, I already gave the definition. Now it is it is the total work done of a moving body. This is for a moving body. This is to change the state of a body. This is for a change the state of a body. Okay, this is the work done to change the state of the body. This is work done by a moving body. Okay, it can only change in the form of kinetic energy. Like potential energy can only change into kinetic energy. A kinetic energy can change into all types of energy. Okay, now it does not depend on the speed of a body. Yes, it depends on the speed of a body. These are, I think, four differences I gave you in the exam. Maybe three will come, four rarely comes, so three will come. Mark any three of that. Okay, now there's one part called the conversion of potential energy into kinetic energy. I'm not going to explain it now, because see, in the Selena, if you go, there is a conservation of energy next part, going to do there. It's in that part. The different form of energy, transformation of energy, I told you. Now nothing is left to except to do some sums. So let's say I have a copy here. Let me select a sum out of here. What can be a best sum? What can be the best sum? Yes, I got it. Now let's say there's a VT curve like this. This is 10, this is 2. Okay, now if you see the VT curve, work done is, yes, the mass of a body is 2 kgs. Let me remind this to you. Now if you see, I have to you have to tell me what is the total work done from 0 to 2 seconds. How much is this? Very easy, half mv square. The total work done by the body is half mv square. So what is m here? 2. What is v? V is changing from 10 to 0, so this will be nothing but 10 squared minus 0 squared. This will be nothing but cut 100 joule. It was a very easy sum. Try to pause the sum and do every time I say. Okay, let's do another sum now. So let's here check this. Now let's say if a body is moving with a constant speed, okay, it moves like this. Let me draw the path. Goes like here, then here, then here, then goes like this and comes to this place. Okay, with a constant velocity all the time. Now you have to tell what is the total work done. Now this is a really easy question. Now this is what we know, half m into v2 square minus v1 squared. Now we know what v2 is equal to v1, because I told you constant speed. So v2 square is equal to v1 squared. So this whole thing is nothing but 0. So total work done is nothing but 0. This is the work density theorem I told you. Now let's do one more sum. That's from the book. Okay, this is inclined plane sum. Inclined plane sums come all the time. Okay, a block weighing 100 Newton is pulled up a slope by length 5 irradiated. Okay, what is the work done by the force F in moving the block A 5 meter along the slope? Now we know what work done is nothing but F sorry, Fs cos theta. Now what is the force? 100. What is the displacement? 5. Now since the force and the slope of 5 meter is the same direction, as I told you, work is nothing but always the force should be in the direction of the how do you call it, the displacement, or elsewise. This is my horizontal. Okay, this is my horizontal. So now this thing will nothing be just be 500 joule. Sorry. Now what is the increase in potential energy? So now let's see this. 1 second, let me insert a page here. Okay, now you know what, initially if this was the thing, this is the initial position, this is the final position, the potential energy, gravitational potential obviously. So I told you what, gravitational energy is always conservative, so we only think about a final and initial position. So if this is the ground, the initial position is this, the final position is this. So this one is at a height 0 and this one is at a height 3 meter. It's given in the question, I guess so. It's given 3 meter. So what will be a change in potential energy? I'm writing not potential energy, I'm just writing delta U, nothing but mgh. It's going up, so it should be positive, negative. Okay, negative. You don't need to write negative here in the exam. Never write negative, just write 300 joule. Okay, because what is the mass of the body given? Something mass is given. Weighing 100 is given, so weight into, this is nothing but weight into 3. No, weight is 100, so 300 joule. Do it. Now let's do another sum. No, I think the previous sum was not over. Okay, account for the difference in work done by the force and increase in potential energy. Difference in work done, it's simple. It's nothing but the as you can see, it is nothing but 500 minus 300. What is that? 200 joule. Now it is asking why is it doing this? What is this thing? Okay, what is this work? If you say account for the difference. Okay, now if you see this slope drawing into the reverse manner, if I pull it, there is always, if this is a surface, this is my force, there will be an opposite force of friction is already doing small f. So this friction's value is 200 joule, that is getting out as heat energy. Okay, always I told you, sometimes or anything machines you will learn this, like machines, not the next chapter on the principle of conservation of energy, you'll get to learn this in details. Let's do the one more last sum. So let's see this question. A ball of mass this from a height this is rebound from, what is the initial potential energy? It is kept at a height of 5 meters. No, so initial potential energy is nothing but U initial is nothing but mgh. So mg is 100 by 1000 because it's 10 gram into, what is the height? 5 meters. This is 1 by 20 joules. What is the kinetic energy of the ball just hitting before the ground? Okay, so you can easily calculate this. V is nothing but root over u square plus 2as. It is just falls from a height, so u is 0, root over 2as. What is 2as? It is 2as here. Let's skip this question because this is not in the syllabus for now. I will just come back to it after if I teach the conservation of energy. So let's skip this question because, sorry, wrong question. This is not for now. Instead, let's do this one. Now it is said that what is the kinetic energy of a body if its mass is double. Now we know what, if it is mass is double, then you can see k1 will be nothing but half mv square and k2 will be nothing but half 2mv square. So I can say k1 is nothing but 2 of k2. This is my relationship. Understand? Now if you see k1 in the next case, I think it is this, reduced to 1/3 of its initial velocity. So k1 in this, oh no, I wrote k1 two times. No, k1 is nothing but half m v square, and then later it is 1/3, so half mv square by 3 square, that's 9. So k1 is nothing but k2 by 9, or k2 is nothing but 9 k1. Always leave the answer in this form, okay, not like by form. And okay, now how much has the kinetic energy? Now you can see this, in this the kinetic energy has increased by 2k2 minus, sorry, what am I writing? Did I write something wrong? No, yes, I wrote it wrong, totally wrong. It will be 2k1 is equal to k2, sorry, let me rewrite this. It increases by 2k1 is the final, k1 is the initial, so k1, 2k1 minus k2. Now here initial is k1, final is, I did here also wrong. You people did not tell me. This part is totally wrong. Okay, k1 by 9, okay, k1 by 9 is equal to k2. Understand? Now what? So that it has decreased by how much? First was k1, final is k1 minus 9 minus 8, sorry, not minus 8, 8k1 by 9. So decreased by final, initial was, decrease means initial minus final, and let me tell you, increase means, writing this, increase means final minus initial, and for a decrease I have to do initial minus final. Always go for the positive value. Whenever which of this comes positive, just do the increase decrease like that. So with this we end the second part of work. So bye.